friends, welcome to the craft room. I'm really glad you're here. Today we are working on a little bit more complicated of a block, and I am so happy with how it's turning out. This is the Sienna Burst block, and truth be told, I have not touched these blocks in a very long time. This was actually one of the original videos I did when I started posting things on YouTube, and we're redoing it. But holy cow, I can do so much better, and I'm excited to show you that I feel a little bit more comfortable with this. This is a pattern by Then Came June. I really enjoy a lot of her patterns because they keep pushing me out of my comfort zone. This one has some steeper angles in here in this little burst and here in this middle diamond. So it's not your basic half square triangle. We've got a steeper angle on it, and so you got to be a little bit more meticulous with your cutting. But I love that it makes me a little uncomfortable so that I get to learn something. Here's another one of Then Came June's patterns that I absolutely love. This one is called the Nova Star, and you can just kind of see how intricate that is in there. So many pieces. I finished this one a little bit ago. Honestly, it's been hanging on this rack for a very long time. I just need to get it quilted, but I'm actually contemplating putting it in the fair next year. I had made it to go into the fair this summer, and it just did not work out. So I think next year I'm going to be brave, try something new, and put a quilt into our local fair. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted. But I love her patterns. Definitely not beginner friendly for those of you that are going to ask me. This is a little bit more advanced, but so good if you're looking for a challenge. Or if you're just like a pro and this is like easy breezy, then you're amazing and I want to be like you when I grow up. So let's jump into this one. I've got all of my pieces set aside here, and we'll walk through those in just a second. I think first up, we're going to start with the easy stuff, which is making our half square triangles, which are right here in the corner of this block. And this is the 8 at a time method. If you have followed me for any amount of time, I love this method and you know it. So we've got our 2 big squares. We're going to put them right sides together, line them up as best we can. Get our big ruler so that it'll reach corner to corner. And we are going to draw lines, a nice diagonal, and make an X that way. And now that way. And we are going to sew a 1/4 inch off both sides of that line, both ways. Let me do that real fast and then I'll show you, okay? There we have that. So you can see our X there with the orange marker, and then we've got the seams on either side of that. I am so glad the sunshine is here, side note, but I'm hoping it's not like bleaching anything out, you know what I mean? It doesn't look like it, but okay. We're gonna get my rotating mat. I love this just for cutting squares like this. All right, so in the pattern, it does say to draw a line here. So we'll have an X and a plus, okay? That would give us 8 separate pieces. I have just recently learned something, and if I've already said it, I'm sorry. I'm just like so proud of myself. So this quilt ruler has this 45 diamond in here. Do you see that? And I have learned that if I line up that diamond with half of my X, that gives me perfect center on this block. Ha! Well, and it's probably more perfect center than if I were to eyeball it and wing it. So I'm pretty pleased with this. this way of doing it so I actually don't draw those lines at all anymore. Okay, so we've got our plus there. Now let's do right on those lines and do our X. And there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 half square triangles and no waste even. Let's put these off to the side. We'll iron and trim all in batches. I try to avoid trimming for as long as humanly possible. So those are done. Half square triangles are done. Let's move to this diamond. For this diamond, we have our 2 pieces of background and our 2 pieces of color. We are going to do opposing angles on these 2 cuts, and this is how it stays on my table so that I make sure I get my pieces in the right spot. I have sewn backwards pieces many a times, especially on this one. So these are longer, skinnier rectangles. So you can see that if we cut this on the diagonal, that's going to give us a steep angle there. So do one that way. And we'll do this one the opposite direction. And we're going to do the backgrounds the same as the color. One this way. And then one this way. So that gives us 2 triangles there, 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. We are going to put these together. Something is bugging me right there. I'm sorry. We're going to put these together, and I'm going to leave these laid out just like they are. Like I said, I keep putting them backwards or in the wrong piece. We are not going to line up ends perfectly. We're going to leave a little excess of that steep point hanging off the ends there. These will get trimmed down quite a bit actually. So it doesn't need to be perfect, but make sure you have some excess up there so that our angles will lay down nicely. And my machine likes to eat little points. So if your machine is the same, make sure you put a lot of fabric through there. I've started my needle right where I can see both fabrics on top of each other. So I'm not on the flower point. I'm a little bit farther down into the fabric till I can see the background fabric and pretty much no more of the flower, okay? Does that make sense? I try to do it in as far as I can so that it doesn't eat my little corners. One down, 3 to go. Those are done. Now we're going to jump over to our bursts that are right here on all 4 sides of the block, and we're going to set it up the exact same way. If you're feeling more confident with your cutting, you definitely don't have to set it up the same way that I do. But I have noticed that this helps me stay organized and make sure the correct background pieces go with the correct color pieces. The only difference here is that we're adding 2 instead of just 1. So we'll have 2 going this way and 2 going this way as opposed to just the 1. Let's cut through those real fast. I was thinking while I was cutting, I found in my Riley Blake catalog, I order a lot of her fabric. I'm a huge fan. I saw that they have rulers. So I had actually reached out to Omnigrid to see if I could carry their rulers, but their wholesale is definitely for big stores. Not, I couldn't order 10. I'd have to order 1,000. You know what I mean? But I just noticed that Riley Blake has rulers. So I use this one a lot, my inch wide ruler. I use my 4.5 a ton, and I actually need a new one because I'm starting to chip the corners off. And I'm also really starting to love this one, which is 5 by 10. Yes. So I was wondering if I ordered rulers, would you be interested in these sizes? They do have a 9.5. So this one is a 10-inch ruler, and I really like the diamond in it. Let's see, and they have this one, 8.5 by 24 as well. Would that interest anyone to order some rulers? I think, ooh, they even have cutting mats. Oh my gosh, they have cutting mats in such cute colors. Holy cow, I think I need those in my life. I'd have to put like 5 together, but I'd love them. Let me go double check what the pricing is. So it looks like the 4.5 ruler would be around $9, and they had a 2-inch, 2.5 inch by 10, which I think would be great. And that would be about $12. So you're looking like 10-ish, I would say $8 to $15 depending on your size. That big ginormo one I'd have to double check on. So total side note, has nothing to do with this, but I figured I'm using them, so I thought I would ask. So let me know if that would interest you guys at all. I feel like that's actually a really good price for these rulers. Granted, they're not the Omnigrid brand, but they're called Cute Cuts, which is still a really good brand. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Let's get back to these. I'm gonna start sewing all of these together now, just to show you all my separate pieces here. But it's gonna be exactly the same as those. Leave a little bit of a tail up at the top, and then sew them 1/4 inch. So we're gonna do a little fast forward. There we go. So I've even gone to iron them out. So at the end result, this is what we're gonna get. We definitely have tall, funny tails here, don't we? So let's sort these out. So before we trim, you can see there's our starburst at the top. And then if we put these together, again, not trimmed yet, there's our diamond for the middle. Pretty cool, right? Let's trim these down. And I'll trim the half square triangles as well. Let's walk through one of these though, because the trimming is a little bit different than the half square triangles for sure. So these are going to come down to 3.5 by 2 inches. So we're going to be trimming about a 1/2 inch off the top here. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 2 by 3.5. So what I personally like to do for these, because we really can't use our angle in there because that's a 45, is I'm gonna come to here and split that difference. So we need 3.5 and we have about 4.25. Okay, so we're gonna come down to about 3 3/4. so that I'm cutting off this about the same for each side. And we want that to be skinnier as well. I just don't want my trim to be one side heavy. So now that we've got a good cut on that side, I'm going to put that at 3.5. Trim off the side and trim off the top. So just half your difference, even on the width as well. I try to half it, whatever that measurement is, just so that I can get an even cut all the way around. So let's skip through these real fast and then we'll meet back. I know I just did the little transition thingy so that we could skip this, but I said 3 3/4 and I didn't mean it. So as I'm trimming, I'm seeing that I am at 2 1/8 on the left that I'm lining my ruler up with. And then I'm lining the ruler up down at the bottom with 3 7/8. So that'll take about the same off of the top and the side. So line up your ruler with 2 1/8 on the long side and then 3 7/8 on the bottom. Let me just show you one more time. There's that side and then that side. Then we rotate and now we'll put it exactly on the 2 and the 3.5. And so you can see just a little sliver off that side again and about the same size chunk off of the top. Okay, that seems to be the happy number. Okay, now go back to transition thing. Okay, all nice and trimmed. That wasn't so bad. I mean, we just did the hard part. Go us! Trim down all the half square triangles. Side note, there was not much to trim off of these. So I think I'm gonna have to cut some more fabric soon for those. So I think I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch bigger than what the pattern asks for. Just so that when it comes to trimming my half square triangles, I actually have something to trim. There are some in here that are a little too small. They're definitely well within the seam allowance, but I did not like how tight it was, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna write a note in my notes. Just so that I remember. And that is just so I can trim better. I need all the help I can get. Let's start assembling this, or at least dry fitting, and then we'll sew stuff together, huh? So we've got our little bursts. Oh, yeah. Then that way. Phew. Get it together. I think I'm going to run out of table. I always do this to myself, don't I? Yeah, just barely. Every time. So cute. And here's where our borders come in. And these are really easy to piece together. So that's why I did them last. But we can just kind of see how they come together here. So those two will go together. This is the middle of our frame, the top and the bottom. And these extra background pieces go on either side, like so. There we go. There's our block. This is a lot of assembling we have to do. I think I'll start with the middle here. So I'll put all of those pieces to make a little strip. I'll put my 2 big strips together. Same with the bottom, put those 3. Get my diamond together and then assemble that square, and then we'll go from there. That's a lot of work, right? But it'll come together pretty quickly. Let's do it. There we go. Our diamonds put together, our strips are done. The tops and bottoms have their extra pieces on the side. So now I'm going to smush these together and start working on these blue points. Are you ready for that? These transitions are much easier than the snapping transitions, because usually when I snap, it's like all good and fine as I do it, but then I come back and do it again and I think, where was I standing? So you only get the one snap this time and all the rest are gonna be whoosh, transitions. Okay, there is our middle. It is ready for the top now, and I did all of the points. Let's start assembling our sides, and we just got to start putting squares together. So that will be the next part of assembly. Get the tops on this middle square, start putting these three together, and then the big old rows on top and bottom. There's our missing piece. So let's get that far to have the one full row, this full row, and this full row done. Phew! Oh, it looks so beautiful, doesn't it? There we go. I'm going to iron, but you can at least see at this point that when I iron this open and iron these flat, those will go there and we'll have that big thick middle, and then we'll just have our top and bottom pieces. So let me iron and finish assembly, and then we can see this completed block. Here we go. Ta-da! We did it! Look at us go. Isn't that pretty? I don't think the sunshine is helping in that way. So pretty. This is coming out so much better than my previous blocks. And so that's really exciting for me, because that just says that I'm getting better, and I'm getting better at this whole quilting thing. And that is so exciting for me. I'm really proud of myself that this was not as intimidating or as daunting as it used to be. It's so pretty. It was meant to be, right? So cute. I love this one a lot, and I think you should definitely give it a try. I'm not going to lean down because then I'll be washed out. I love this one a lot, but I love it even more now that I can see the progress that I've made. And that just, like I said, it just makes me really proud of myself. Look at me doing hard things. Whoop, whoop. All right. Well, until next time, friends, we'll see ya. Bye.